to become a 3D VTuber. To become a 3D VTuber, there's a couple steps. Pretty simple. Number 1, get avatar. 2, application. We're gonna talk about some hardware, some stream software. We're gonna talk about like some audio stuff, and we're just gonna briefly cover interactions. It's really nice now, you get it for free. There's a couple of ways you can get an avatar. 1, if you have the skill for it, you can create your own avatar. Or number 2, you can find an artist, commission one. Or 3 is you could just buy one for like 50 bucks. Maybe less than $50 actually. Before you get started as a VTuber, there's a couple things that you should prepare. 1, kind of think about like the kind of content that you want to make. Going to be like a dancer? Do you want this avatar to fit more of your personality? Do you want to make like your own kind of character? Just kind of write down some basic ideas, like brainstorm basically. Once you have that, you can make something called a mood board or a vision board. This is kind of where you collect a bunch of images, colors, and different things that you think would represent your character. And then afterwards, get a character sheet. This is the part that costs money. Usually this costs like a few $100s, sometimes a little bit more depending on the artist that you hire. This is something that you should have for like a very long time. Having a good character reference sheet is great, because if you ever want to go for a 2D model or 3D model, or you want to get a new outfit for your character, things like that, you can give them this character sheet as a reference that they can use. It could help you make your own character if you want to start learning how to do 3D model. So this is my vision board, mood board that I gave to my character artist. I started off with this one right here, World Aesthetics. Obviously, you could see I kind of like the vaporwave slash cyberpunk slash Ghost in the Shell-esque kind of look. This is the kind of the world that I want my character to live in. For colors, color palette, and like some examples, this is kind of like what some characters would look like living in the world with this, like using the colors. Provided some like poses that I could see my character in a character sheet if you wanted to like have an example pose, but also have like the colors as well. Provide like inspirations and references to like what your character's outfit. I found like a cosplay of Jack from Mass Effect, some cyberpunk outfits and like glasses and things like that. This is like some Ghost in the Shell outfits. You could see it, right? The kind of hair that I wanted, and then like the kind of pants that I wanted. Like, so like these are like what I provided to the artist I found, Mari, to do my character sheet. Afterwards, this is the character sheet that I ended up with. It was nice that they gave me 2. One is just like showing what it looks like without the code on. They're showing it with it. Obviously, like now it's a little bit different. You could still see like where my character reference came from. I strongly recommend not using generative AI when collecting these kind of images. Generative AI will always give the same kind of answer. It's like you're copying someone's homework. You're never having your own original ideas. Oh, you could say, oh, but Fofa, you're finding these images yourself. This is like my thought. I'm like, I really like the outfits from this game of this character, so I'll throw that in as a reference, right? Versus give me something that looks like this in like an image generator. If anyone else were to type that same thing out, you would end up with the same thing every time. I would really recommend looking for references from games, maybe from cosplayers, from real life. If you really like want to do like image search, use the filter and set it to like, I don't know, before 2019, so you don't get like bombarded with AI slop. Use real life references, use references from media, like, I don't know, like games, or TV shows, or anime, or movies. But you could say, you know what? F it. I don't want to do all this crap. Do what this VTuber did. Break the norms, break the conventions. You don't have to be an anime character to be a VTuber. There's many different ways to become a VTuber. This is Burnt Peanut, who's a VTuber on Twitch. If you're feeling a little bit creative or you're an artist, there's a couple applications that you can use that are 100% free to make your own 3D VTuber. One, there's an application called VRoid Studio. It's kind of like a character creator, and then you can create your own textures. The only thing about VRoid Studio is that it's very easy to make a generic looking avatar. But like if you're really good at drawing art, using the art, you can make your character look very unique. So there's a lot of like VRoid avatars that are out there that you might not even know that are VRoid avatars. So I'd say like this is definitely worth a try doing, especially so if you have good 2D art talents. So the second thing is you can use something called Blender, also a free 3D modeling application. This is my character in Blender. If you just kind of want to give 3D modeling a shot, what you can do, if you you have your character sheet, you can bring it in the Blender as like a 2D plane, and you could try something called box modeling. Box modeling is basically like you have your 2D image, you kind of like trace dots all around the 2D image, and then you start like basically building from those like dot traces to try and make a 3D model using all the references. So that's why it's like really important to have the front view, the side view, and the back view. When you or a hired artist is trying to do 3D modeling, you can have all those references to hit. Another option you could do instead of making yourself is you can commission a model. So there's a website called VNyan, kind of thinking about it like Fiverr, but better and verified artists. It's pretty well maintained, like curated, a list of like artists to have on the website. VNyan is like probably the best place to get VTuber related work done. Another thing you can do is look for VTuber model creators. You're generally gonna be looking on social media, find established VTubers that you like and see what artists they use. Usually on Twitch, like in my Twitch bio, if you look down in my bio and my description, I reference the artists that I use for my model. Another thing you can do too, this is someone called Artgun, basically made the well-known established VTubers, but also you could see who they follow. So find like, all you gotta do is find one big VTuber artist, go to their social media, see who they follow, because it's very, very low chance that they're gonna be following like fake scam accounts. They're gonna follow like other artists that they know. And that's a great way to find other VTuber artists if you're looking for one. But let's say you don't wanna go the art route and you just wanna buy a VTuber model. There's two places you could do it. One is booth.pm. They have a lot of anime style avatars. And there's Gumroad. Gumroad has some anime style avatars, but they also have a lot of furry style avatars. The thing is, like, if you're looking for a non-furry avatar, this is pretty much one of the only places where you can get like a Western style avatar, whereas this is more of like an anime style avatar. The prices generally range anywhere from like $10 to $50, sometimes $60. And these are like pre-made avatars that are usually meant for VR chat, but they're very easy to convert into a VTuber model. I did a video on how to convert these models into a VTuber model. If you are thinking about using an existing property, Overwatch, Genshin Impact, Uma Musume, or like Sonic or Mario or anything like that, stop. Do not do this. I have seen many VTubers do this. They would take the outfit. They would even use the full model. Do not do this. There's a couple reasons why you would not want to make your own social media career based on someone else's intellectual property. Number one, you don't own it. Number two, at any point, these companies can end your career. I know a handful of people that have had models based on these. They were like, they're not a huge streamer. They got like 10 views, maybe up to 50 average viewers. And then one day in their email inbox, they got a cease and desist from the company. And then they got a physical letter to their home address that was also a cease and desist. Basically, a cease and desist is, hey, you need to stop or we're gonna sue you. Why would you build up a career on something that you don't own and that can be taken away at any time? Do not do this. It's fine to use these as inspiration in like I said, in your vision board or your mood board. Now that you have your 3D model of some kind, either you purchased it, you commissioned it, or you made it yourself. In order to do VTubing, you need some kind of VTubing application. You could make your own VTubing application. Like I even have a video on how you can do that. But honestly, some of the apps that are out right now, they're all free and they're great. Why would you go through the effort of making your own when you can do almost everything you want to do in these applications? There's VSeeFace, which is like probably the most basic. There's the application that I use, VNyan, made by this wonderful person. And there's this thing called Warudo, which you can get on Steam. There's VSeeFace. If you look at most things on like how to do VTubing, a lot of people talk about VSeeFace. VSeeFace is like the OG GOAT. They're the original great VTubing application. They can do basic face tracking with a webcam. You can use an iPhone to do face tracking. It's reliable, it's solid, it's easy to use. You basically load avatar and you're good to go. Downside is that it's simple. There's like basically this is all you get from it. Just basic avatar. No interactions, no worlds, just your avatar working, but it's solid. The application that I'm using right now, the one that captured my interest, because I was using my custom application beforehand. I was using custom Unreal Engine application that I was making. This application can do everything that I wanted. VNyan. In my opinion, the best VTubing application you can use. It does webcam tracking. ARKit means like iPhone face tracking. It's reliable, it's stable. It has so many features. It can do interactions and redeems. It does multiplayer, meaning that if you have another friend who uses the same application and you want to have a collab with both avatars in the same place, you could do it. Some people have made games in this application, and it's made by like an indie developer who listens to their community. Oh, also, this is the only 3D VTubing application that is Battle Pass platform ready, if you know what I mean. If you're looking to make Battle Pass content, this is the only 3D application that you can use. And lastly, this is called Warudo. You can get this on Steam. Also free. It has a lot of the similar features. Does basic webcam tracking. ARKit, it does have a lot of features. It can do interactions and redeems. Also has multiplayer. It's a little bit easier to start because it has like a nice tutorial. But the problem with Warudo, I've had a lot of crashing issues with Warudo. It crashes a lot for me, especially when I'm trying to do anything like redeems related. It doesn't work with all the motion capture stuff that it does very easily. The advanced features are behind a paywall. So all those like Nilo tune nice stuff that you're seeing people like rant and rave about, it's like locked behind like a couple $1,000 paywall. I personally say if you're just looking to find an easy drop-in replacement for VSeeFace and you don't want to do anything advanced other than just your avatar and some basic redeems, Warudo's pretty great. But if you ever want to do anything a little bit more multiplayer or battle pass content, VNyan is your application. If you're looking for hardware, the most important thing, hardware that you can get to become a VTuber, the number one is how to do face tracking. This is the most important thing, face tracking. Next would be some kind of hand tracking, optional. Like I showed you burnt peanut earlier. That peanut don't have no hands. Also, they don't have a body, so there's no full body tracking. But we're gonna talk about each of these things. Your face tracking will do your head tracking as well. So there's a couple ways to do face tracking. It's actually updated since a long time ago. It's gotten a lot better. You have a few options on how to do face tracking. One, you could just use a webcam. Most people have a webcam, right? Two, you can use an iPhone. iPhone is probably, in my opinion, the best way to do it. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Next, if you have an RTX graphics card with a webcam, that's another thing you can do. And then the other way is using VR face tracking. So you can do webcam tracking just if you only have a webcam, you don't have an RTX graphics card. You can use this application called XR Animator. It's 100% free. I'll make sure I have the link to it. And it does do face track. It does a bunch of stuff, but it also does face tracking. But it's not the best quality face tracking that you can get. If you have an RTX graphics card and a webcam, there's this application that you can get on the Windows Store. So you have to look for iFacial Mocap powered by NVIDIA Broadcast. So NVIDIA Broadcast has face tracking tech in it, and you can use it to get better face tracking than you can with just XR Animator. So I would say if you have an RTX graphics card, you don't have an iPhone, this is probably what you're going to need to use. It's made by like one Japanese dude. There's also iFacial Mocap for your iPhone. This is the application that I recommend. I know there's something like Face Motion 3D made by the same developer. Some applications don't support it. You get a iFacial Mocap for your iPhone. And if you're thinking FOFA, iPhone, so expensive. You only need an iPhone with Face ID, so you can get an iPhone X that has like a cracked, broken ass screen, and you can buy one of those for like $80 Canadian. That's the same cost as a webcam. And this will give you the best quality face tracking. And if you're thinking, oh, but I don't want to give Apple any money. I don't like the company. Well, here's the thing. You're buying a used iPhone, so Apple's not getting the money. And if you don't want to spend the money on iFacial Mocap, you can use this application called Y.io. I'll have it linked, Y.io. I also have a video on it. That's a free application. You're buying a phone that you're not giving to Apple, and then you're using their servers, costing them money to download a free application. What better way to stick it to a company? VR face tracking. Unfortunately, the off-the-shelf space for this is very, very bad. There's no headsets that you can get right now that are natively going to give you full face tracking. The headsets that most people use are Quest Pros, which are impossible to get now. Everyone in VR chat that has face tracking, most likely they have either the Quest Pro or the Vive Pro Eye, which is also another headset that you just can't get anymore. That's what led to the rise of these two independent projects called Project Babel, which gives you lower face tracking. You can either use this to make your own or purchase their pre-made kits. Or there's iTrack VR, which you can also buy their pre-made kits, or you can make your own by following their tutorials. They give you like parts lists and everything. So there are ways you can make your own face tracking if you are interested in doing that. Let's talk about full body tracking, which is what I'm using right now. Here's the thing about full body tracking. Most of you do not need full body tracking. Think about like most gamers that you see, like the two #1 VTubers that you see right now on Twitch, Burnt Peanut, Iron Mouse. They don't use full body tracking. The most kind of content that they do, they're like sitting down and playing games. They don't get up and move around. The only time you need full body tracking is, well, one, if you want to feature your movements, or number two, most often the case when I'm talking to other VTubers is they want to dance. If you think about full body tracking, really think about what you're going to do with it and how often you're going to be using it. What kind of hardware do you have? What do you know about this? I have a shit ton of hardware. Like part of this is related to my job, IRL. I'm also an enthusiast. This is my hardware collection before moving back to Canada. This was in my carry-on bag. This is a full desktop PC. This is all my VR gear and my streaming gear. What can you use for full body tracking? One, you can use motion capture suits like this Rokoko suit. Don't use this. Accent suit, expensive. You can use Tundra trackers or Vive trackers. You can use something like a Slime VR, or you can just do webcam based tracking. If you only have a webcam and you want to experiment with full body tracking, there's something called XR Animator, which we talked about before, that does face tracking as well. Once again, this is a free application and it does do webcam based tracking in multiple positions. It does upper body only tracking, it does face only tracking, it does full body tracking. So if you don't have any of the other hardware and you're just like wanting to experiment with it, this is the application to try. Motion capture suits. I specifically have two motion capture suits. I have the Rokoko suit and I have an Accent suit. I don't recommend you buy either of these, especially do not buy a Rokoko suit. Even though the Rokoko suit does have good tracking, the problem is there are cables between each of the sensors. This is one of their own tutorials on how to fix their broken ass cables. This is how many cables I've been through when I was using this suit for a year. Fofo, were you doing anything super active? No, I was just doing what I'm doing right now, just standing and moving around like this. So this is the kind of vigorous content that I did in the motion capture suit that caused this many cables to break. This suit's like $2,000, plus there's like a $300 a year subscription, and you have to do your own tech support? No, thanks. The Accent suit has a similar setup. Their cables are just different. Accent suits, if you want to know more about Accent suits, these Accent suits, like the one I'm using right now, they use these, one for like professional motion capture in Hollywood. Two, they also use them for medical and military training. So a real life scenario is they'll slap one of these suits on a person in the military, load them up with like a 200-pound backpack, and then have them trudge through the mud. They use that motion capture data to see how the body reacts to having that much weight while going through mud. Do I recommend you buy one of these? No. These suits cost like $15,000. And if right now you were to try and buy one and you spent that $15,000, it costs $5,000 a year in subscription costs. Do not buy it. Not worth it. So what I do recommend is, if you're doing full body tracking, is using VR tracking. The gold standard right now is either using Tundra trackers or HTC Vive trackers. This is going to give you the best quality tracking. The downside, it's expensive. Each of these individual trackers costs like $150. Plus, you're going to need base stations, which cost like $200 each. Very, very expensive. So you're going to need to at least get 6 of these guys, plus 2 base stations, what I would recommend. So it's like $600 plus $400, $1,000. But at least there is no subscription. You can use something called virtual motion capture. I also have a video on how to set this up. It's a free application. The only downsides to these is one, you need to always be in view of your base stations. Two, it's expensive. But three, these usually have like a 4 to 6 hour battery life, and they're kind of heavy. Now there are other tracking methods. So you might have heard of the Sony Mocap. I also did a video on these. They're not good, but also they don't give you the ability to do this. You can't move your wrists, but also too, the quality of the tracking is not good. They released something called a Mocap Pro, which is basically just 2 of these slapped together into a single set. Literally, it's just buying 2 of these. I don't recommend it. Plus, it's also expensive. It's like $1,200 to get the Pro set. And just to get the single set like this, it's like, I think like $400. The only advantage I would say that the Mocap has is that it can give you on-the-go VTubing. The only thing it needs is you need this and a phone, and then you could do VTubing. Unless you're gonna do that, it's not worth it. The slime trackers, which is pretty much the standard, you could either buy their pre-made kits. This is also one of the things that they're releasing right now. It's called the slime butterfly trackers. It's not out yet. They also have an amazing DIY community, so you can go to their website, join their Discord, and you can find out how to make your own slime VR trackers. Some of the slime VR trackers that you see in their Discord server are crazy. Like, I've seen some made of cardboard. Some of them are like mechanical, like exoskeleton stuff that people have made from 3D printing that use like gears to track the movement. Crazy stuff. It's a very nice open platform. I would say, hey, check this out, especially if you're more into the DIY space. There's something called the Unimotion I did a video on before as well. Its best performance is when you're using it with a VR headset. Other than that, on its own, it's not that great. And that's also leading us into the Flex Pose. It's a current Kickstarter right now. I'm currently editing a video on these trackers. In order to do full body tracking without a VR headset, it's gonna be like $1,200. I'd say if you want my full thoughts on these trackers, they seem promising. Wait for that video to come out. They look like they're going to be good. With an asterisk, they don't give you world tracking. Meaning they'll give you tracking if you're gonna be in one place, but if you wanna be able to do something like this, moving side to side, it's not going to give you that. Hand tracking. After getting face tracking, if you're looking to add a little bit more to your 3D VTubing, you can do hand tracking. This can give you a little bit more extra expression to your avatar. And it's probably like the best optional upgrade that you can get to your model. Once again, XR Animator makes an appearance. The free application, almost like the GOAT right now. Not only does it do face tracking, not only does it do full body tracking, it also does hand tracking, and it's free. So all you need, like, for this once again is a webcam. So this is like the easiest early entry to almost all forms of like VTuber motion capture is XR Animator. Rokoko Gloves. My personal recommendation, I own these. Do not buy them. Not only are they expensive in the thousands of dollars, plus they require a subscription. My personal pair reached an internal temperature touching my skin of 52 degrees Celsius. For any American right now, that is 125 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the National Library of Medicine, that is enough to potentially cause permanent skin damage and pain. Do not buy these gloves, in my opinion. Like I said, this is what I experienced. This is what I measured. I have a video on this. If you want to see my review of these gloves, I show a live footage of this. This only took a few minutes to reach this temperature. Look up something called toasted skin syndrome. There's the StretchSense gloves. I also own a pair of these. These were sent to me for free. This is the problem that I have, is this. Look at this. Look at the tearing on the glove. You see that? See that tearing? It's not supposed to do that. They say that these gloves are better. I don't think so. A lot of VTubers are using these gloves, especially like the big VTubers right now. If you're using it for just like normal hand movement, like I'm doing right now, or keyboard and mouse, if you have a normal mouse and a normal keyboard, it'll be fine. But if you're like me and you have a trackball mouse, I use this mouse, which requires a lot of thumb movement, a lot of rotational thumb movement. Or if you're the type of gamer who uses a controller, where you get a lot of rotational thumb movement. I suspect that these stretch sensors are good at stretching in this way, but not in any other way. So I'm thinking, my thought is the rotational movement is what's causing the tearing. I've been through 4 of these gloves, and these gloves aren't cheap either. They're like $600. Thankfully, StretchSense has always replaced it for me, but in the course of a year, I've been through 4 of them. It's only torn on my right hand, which is the hand that I use for my mouse. So I'm guessing it's that rotational thumb movement that's doing it. So if you have a trackball mouse like me, or you use a gamepad, don't get it. Like, my left hand has always been fine. They say you could use it for VR. It's not great for VR. Also, what's really nice about these gloves, you can wash them. What gloves am I using right now? I'm using the DiverX gloves now. I've been using these for almost a year now. So these are DiverX gloves. They cost the same as a StretchSense glove. Oh, they perform basically the same as a StretchSense glove. They're also washable. You can wash them. But what's nice about them, they have a dedicated detachable controller, so you could use these as VR controllers. You can take them off if you think they're heavy. You can take them off. But I would say what's really nice about these, you can use them for VTubing, hand capture. You can also use them in VR chat as controllers or VR controllers. So they have dual purpose. If you're considering these gloves versus the StretchSense gloves, I think it's a no-brainer. You're paying the same amount of money, no subscription, and in this way you get hardware controls, none of that gesture-based control nonsense. If you detach the controller part, it still will capture your hand movement. So this is the gloves that I'm using right now, and this is what I recommend if you were to be using hand tracking and you need gloves. If you're comparing gloves versus this free webcam-based tracking that you can use, what are the downsides of this versus a glove? Why would you need a glove? The only time you need a glove is if you're doing full body tracking. What are the advantages of doing a glove? If I'm standing this far from my webcam, it's not gonna be able to track my hands very well. If I do this, I can still track my hands. That's the only reason you need a glove. I'd say the only time I would really recommend a glove is if you're also looking for like a replacement for a VR controller. That's it. I have to mention this as well. The Leap Motion. If you can find a Leap Motion for cheap, less than $200, get it. What happened to Leap Motion is Leap Motion was purchased by some AI company, and now this went from $200 to like $2,000. They're almost impossible to purchase now. Oh my gosh. Jersey, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Thanks for the 10 gifted. So, if you can find one of these for like a couple $100s, buy one. They're basically super durable. They're like a tank. I have this one. A lot of people I know have this one. This is the OG. This is the new version that gives you better hand tracking. The OG is built like a tank. I can't talk to this one because I don't own it. But these are, I'm mentioning this because everyone's gonna ask. These are basically impossible to get for a good price now. Only get this if you can find it for less than $200. Stream software. You should be using OBS. OBS is free. Don't use Streamlabs. Use OBS. It's better. It's what most people use. Use OBS. OBS, I've used it on all platforms. Windows and macOS are the best versions of OBS. The downside with macOS is you're not gonna find a VTubing application really that's gonna work for it. The Linux version of OBS is trash. It's garbage, but it's the only thing that you can use. The reason why the Linux version of OBS is so bad is just because people haven't been developing it. It doesn't have transparency capture. It's missing a lot of the creature comfort features of OBS for Windows and macOS. OBS is what you should be using. And if you want to get really high quality transparency capture, like what you're seeing right now, look at the confetti that's in my VTubing application. Look at me, there's no green screen outlines or anything like that. It's setting the transparency to OBS. You're gonna want to use something called Spout 2. I'll also link this down in the description. It's a free OBS plugin. And then in your VTuber software, make sure that you send out Spout 2 to OBS, and you'll be able to add it as a source in OBS. And it'll give you high quality transparency capture for when you need it. If you're gonna be using more than one computer, most VTubers are using a single PC. I asked over 1,000 different VTubers to fill out a survey. Most of them are single PC streamers. That's the average. If you are a multi-PC streamer and you don't want to buy a capture card, get the NDI plugin for OBS, and then you can use that to send your VTuber capture to OBS. One PC is dedicated to handling OBS and my VTubing application. My computer is free to play games. A VTubing application will use the same amount of resources as a gaming application. So let's quickly talk about audio. Why do you need to do audio? Audio is something that you need to think about. It's probably the most important part of your stream. You can watch a video in 160p on YouTube if you want to watch it, as long as it sounds good. If the audio sounds like garbage and it's in like 4K HD, you're not watching that shit. You can get a free application like Voicemeeter or Banana. The only downside about this is like it's a little bit complicated to set up. There's a lot of great YouTube tutorials out there on how to use it, but Voicemeeter Banana is probably like the OG GOAT in terms of easy, free ways to separate your audio when it comes to streaming. A way to slightly improve your audio with better microphones, physical hardware sliders, and the ability to have one microphone and one audio thing interface for 2 computers at the same time. There's the Rodecaster, and then there's a Rode Podcaster Pro 2. I have the Rodecaster, this one right here. This has 2 USB connections, which means that you can share your audio, so like your speakers and your headphones and your microphone, to 2 computers at the same time. And if you're ever thinking about getting something like a dynamic microphone, which dynamic microphones are microphones that inherently reject background noise, like a Shure SM7B as an example, you need to get one of these anyway. So this is the one I would recommend, especially if you're using dual computer. Also, what's cool about this, if you want to record audio on the go, you just give this USB power and you stick an SD card in it and you can record audio. Silly question, what advice would you give to a VTuber that wants to record live music with multiple microphones and instruments in a mixer? Go with Rode. It allows you to hook up 2 separate microphones. So you can plug in a microphone and also you can connect wireless microphones. I have 2 microphones hooked up to this what I have. One, I have my wireless microphone paired to it, and I also use it for my headphones, and I also have my other microphone hooked up to it. But let's say if you're looking for a little bit more, there's also the Podcaster Pro 2, very expensive. I would say only get this if you're looking for the ability to have 4 separate microphones controlled in one place. This is like $900 Canadian. This is like $600 Canadian. It's expensive. Voicemeeter Banana, it's free. Let's talk about microphones. This is the wireless microphone that I'm using right now. I'm using this one connected to my mixer. If you don't have a mixer, what's really nice is that if you buy this set, I think right now you can buy these for 150 Canadian. I don't know what that works out to be in USD or Euro. If you have the receiver, you can plug it in by USB to your computer, and it works as a USB microphone. This is like the easiest way to get a wireless USB microphone that you can use on stream. You can use it to chat with your friends. Very high quality. It works very, very well. There's a saying when it comes to certain things, especially hardware things: buy once, cry once. Audio is one of the most important things that you can do, that you can have to your stream. And what I'm recommending here is like the minimum quality benchmark that you should try to hit for audio. I have 3 different kind of microphones here, and I'm gonna talk about the difference between them. So if you're looking for a good wireless microphone, $150 for the set, this is what I'd recommend. It works as a wireless USB microphone as well. If you don't need a wireless microphone and you care about rejecting background noise and you want that podcaster sound, you can get this Rode. I know I'm recommending a lot of Rode products, but they make good shit. This is called the Rode Pod Mic. This is about like $100 US. You can even sometimes find them used for like $80, $60 if you're lucky. These microphones are a tank. They work well, they're super durable, and they'll probably last you a lifetime. The downside is that to get the $100 version, you need an XLR interface of some kind, which will cost additional money. They do have a USB version of this that's like $200 or $150 or something like that US. So that's another option to think about. Like I said, this is a dynamic microphone, which means that it's gonna reject all the background noise. If you don't care about background noise, or you wanna get the best possible audio capture, like especially if you're going to be doing something like singing, get something called the Elgato. This is the Elgato Wave. It's like $120 US, I believe. This is something called a condenser microphone. It's going to pick up a lot of the background noise, but since it's picking up a lot of the background noise, it's going to pick up a lot of the different aspects and levels and frequencies of your voice. So if you, one, don't care about background noise, 2, really want your voice to sound good, especially if you're going to be doing something like singing, the Elgato Wave, $120 US, and it's a USB microphone. And also what's really nice, it comes with really great software that will blow Voicemeeter Banana away. But the only way you can use the Elgato audio software is that you have to have an Elgato microphone plugged in. These are the 3 different kind of microphones I would recommend if you're looking to get into VTubing. Especially if you're doing full body tracking, you might want to think about a wireless microphone. If you need wireless headphones is such an upgrade. Not having to worry about headphone cables is great. But like, why does this matter for streaming? I only can recommend 2 different wireless audio solutions for headphones. These vary greatly in price. Why am I recommending these ones particular? Most commonly, your wireless headphones, like especially the ones that you're using for your phone that connect via Bluetooth, those have processing, which adds delay, which means that if you want to be a proper streamer, you want to hear what your microphone sounds like. The best way to do it is monitor your audio so everything that stream hears, you also hear. Currently right now, hearing my own voice. This is the standard for most streamers and all professional audio setups. But the problem is Bluetooth has too much processing. When you're hearing your own voice over Bluetooth, what'll happen is that you'll speak and then you'll hear yourself a moment later. So you'll speak, and then you'll hear like this. It's gonna make it almost impossible to speak. You need to have some kind of wireless headphone that has almost no delay. So when you're hearing your own voice, it's not causing you any problems with speaking because you're not hearing your own voice echo back into you like a couple milliseconds later. 2 different options. One, the expensive option, the Arctis Pro Wireless. It's like a $400 wireless headphone. These headphones sound great. They have a built-in microphone as well. The microphone doesn't sound that good. It's expensive. If you don't want to spend this much money, you can get this. This little guy is like $40. You can plug your own headphones into it and it gives you high quality wireless audio. And this is actually what I'm using right now. When I'm streaming, I don't want to wear these big ass headphones. I'm using little earbuds and I have my earbuds plugged into this little $40 guy. It's like the Leakato wireless audio transmitter. How to set up interactions. What's great about the 2 VTubing applications that I recommended, the one that I'm using, VNyan, here you can see Warudo, is that they both offer native Twitch interaction. You're actually seeing it happen right now. People are doing channel point redeems that cause this to happen on screen. They're both very easy to set up. They both use like a node graph-like system. If you're going to do anything advanced when it comes to redeems, like some people like The Last Seahorse or 2.0, they have like really advanced stream setups. They're using VNyan because VNyan is just better at doing advanced stuff and it's more reliable. I can't tell you how many times I've used Warudo and things just didn't work or just crashed the application completely. If you want to do anything advanced with your VTubing redeems, get VNyan. Don't use Warudo. Thanks to all my subscribers on YouTube and Patreon. Without your support, especially for people on Twitch right now, I wouldn't be able to make videos like this. So please, like and subscribe. Bye.